It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time. Motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise on this third day of January 2020. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
TGIF, I am Philip Simon.
And it is certainly our pleasure to be back with you as we celebrate a brand new year, first show of the new year, and we hope that you enjoyed the holiday season, that you had a wonderful time bringing in the new year, and that you're certainly looking forward to achieving a lot this year.
I can't believe the Christmas tree is gone. I mean, it just
That went really quick.
It went by really quickly, but I mean, listen, new year, new day, new decade. Can you believe it?
Right, I mean,
2020 is here.
it's crazy that we're already moving into a new decade, and you know, time just flies by. You don't even think about the years, and then it's like this is a brand new decade. So yeah, a lot
All
of
kind of new things going through. You know,
things
the sky has been glowing the last couple of weeks. I mean, I've been taking in so many questions and just, you know, so I just leave that alone, man. So is there anything you'd like to say to us?
Sure. So the Christmas gift God gave me came about 3 months ago. At least that's what I found out 3 months ago. And so it should be here unwrapping it sometime in early summer of next year. So we're expecting our second little one. And excited about it, nervous, terrified to be doing this twice, but definitely excited about the blessing that we hope to bring into the world.
Congratulations.
Thank you
to
so
both
much.
of you.
Thank you.
Looking lovely, glowing. I mean, lovely this, you know.
But he's really mean it's my stomach showing, guys, but we can go with glowing.
You know
I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, you know, behavior, so, you know, we don't mess nothing, boy. I mean, you run into people, they're like, so, I mean, I don't know what you
Y'all
talking
stop
about.
asking my cold questions about me. It makes him very uncomfortable. Whenever you see him, just say, Phil, I'm so happy to meet you in person. That is all.
Absolutely. But listen, so happy to be here. Brand new year. I mean, so many different things we can talk about this morning. I mean, and in fact, we are going to be talking about different reflections to talk about some of the spiritual goals and growing in 2020. I know everybody's got the New Year's resolution. You know, I'm getting tired here holding in my stomach. You know.
Thank God I don't have to do that anymore. So, you know, ready-made excuse. It's definitely that time to just kind of reflect and see where it is that you want to go.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't actually make any resolutions this year.
I didn't either. I haven't made any in years.
Yeah, but I think for me it's always been, especially in the last maybe 3 to 5 years of my life, I've been trying to focus on characteristics that I think will enhance my ability to serve my country and to serve my God and to just be the best version of myself. And so I think for me, this year is about consistency and discipline, and how can I exercise consistency and discipline in all aspects of my life. And I think when you take something like a characteristic or a principle and say, how can I apply it in every situation, you can see results, right, that you might resolve to.
That's right,
Yeah.
in every situation and in every day. So,
Right.
so every single day to me is a new opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, even the Bible says, morning by morning, new mercies we see. So
Right.
for me, it's a reset every single day. So I don't need to do it at the 31st of December.
Well, we'll talk about it. We got some people that might beg to differ. Looking forward to talking with Keishelle Davis this morning. Keishelle is going to be sharing with us on vision boards, and I love to do vision boards with Keishelle. I've looked at the way some of the things have manifested in my life, and I know it's because we took time to just kind of lay that vision out there and make it clean. So we'll talk about that, and we're also going to be meeting, of course, with some of our spiritual leaders to talk about how we can work on those things.
And our financial leaders as well. And Simone Bowe is also here to talk about careers and transitions, and of course, I think Khalil's here, leading corporate services.
Yeah, he's going to be here to talk with us about those financial goals. And then we've got Downtown Natasha Brown for Phil, and those of you that overate in the Christmas without my excuse, so she can help you guys get back on track.
Is a word.
But, you know, and she's really going to be talking to our population over 50, because this is when a lot of, you know, diseases, et cetera, start to manifest themselves.
Oh, good.
No, because what you're doing right now in your 40s and in your late 30s will contribute to the life that you live in your 50s. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time to look as good as God for you. It's true. It is true. And then one of the things I'm looking forward to most is learning from two of our service organizations about how you can give back through service. One of the things I tell people is if you want to see growth in your life, commit yourself to some sort
serving
of
somebody.
service
Yeah,
organization,
absolutely.
and you'll be able to watch not just your network grow from a personal space, but yourself develop because you're given to someone that's more than you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All of that and so much more here. Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Indeed, we've got more to come, but we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside. Read a room about a cold front, so I'm sure Godfrey's going to let us know exactly what's coming to us over the weekend.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Mohammed, and Happy New Year, everybody. In your first look at weather, sunrise in 2020, high pressure the dominant feature, and that's going to shoot towards the east. It's going to make way for a very strong cold front to move in here on Saturday afternoon across Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, and by Saturday night, early Sunday morning across New Providence, Eleuthera, in the Exomas on Sunday afternoon. It's actually going to create a whole lot of activity coming into the islands on Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, and some strong winds will be accompanying that system over a 24-hour period, even gusting the gale force, so you mariners stay in port and swimmers out of the water starting tomorrow afternoon. Today, we're looking at mostly sunny and warm, slight chance of a brief shower, high temperature 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, few patchy clouds on the mild side, the low temperature going down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Some region highs and lows across the Caribbean: Barbados 83 and 77, in Jamaica 83 and 69, Trinidad 84 and 74, and the Turks and Caicos Islands 83 and 71. Across North America, Atlanta 65 and 57, in Raleigh 74 and 51, in Miami 80 and 74, Dallas, Texas 56 and 46, and Toronto, Canada 42 and 36. As we go to the weekend, on Saturday, we start off partly sunny, but by afternoon expect increasing cloudiness and some showers, possible thunderstorms, windy conditions over Grand Bahama, Abaco, and by nighttime across New Providence and North Eleuthera as that cold front moves to the area. Should clear out by Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then those temperatures dip. Ahead of the cold front, those temperatures be in the low 80s at daytime, upper 60s at nighttime. Behind that cold front, we're looking at the low to mid 70s daytime and the 50s at nighttime. That puts her up in your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. Our first response team will be there in 15 minutes.
I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Why should you get Trio from Rev this Christmas? Cue the music. In addition to TV and internet, you get unlimited local calls, unlimited international calls, and a free virtual number, plus tons of free features. And you get Rev Go Voice for free. Also, if you get Trio now, you get entered automatically into a $250,000 cashback Christmas. That's 250 customers with a chance at $250,000. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Well, many people often say a new year, new me, but how does one really transform without making sure that the spiritual part of their lives are not growing and transforming as well? This morning we're going to take a more in-depth look on how we can make some of those spiritual transformations happen in our life. We're very happy to welcome the Anglican Theological Institute, and they're represented this morning by the Most Reverend Bishop Drexel Gomez, who's the retired Archbishop of our diocese, and of course with the Anglican Church, and then the Reverend Canon Basil Tynes, who's the rector at St. Barnabas Church. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning to you and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to both of you, and it's a pleasure to have you both here. Certainly both beacons of the faith and men who would have written many things, shared many things about the importance of growing in faith. Why is faith and this idea that one must continue to grow in it still relevant to both of you in the year 2020?
I think first of all I would say that it's all about God and how real is God in your life. And faith is about learning how to trust in Him and to rely upon Him as the source of all that is about your life. You grow in faith as God becomes more real and you seek to respond to Him in faithful living, worship, how you come to approach your job and your work. Everything looks different when you come as a child of God, responding to Him and being aware of Him in your life. And that requires an ongoing vigilance and attention. Because one of the problems in life is that we stop paying attention. So even when you're driving, you have to learn how to drive with care and attention. So a lot of people live without paying attention. And it is learning to pay attention to God and to be responsive to Him on a daily basis.
All right, and for you, Canon Tynes?
And I believe that carrying on from where the bishop left off, I believe it's important for us to make sure that we understand that this is a constant progress of building and equipping, learning as much as we possibly can about our faith. I think one of the biggest problems we face in the Bahamas is that there are too many of us who just believe that there's a simple step when faith requires us to understand we're on a journey. And if we're on a journey, then we need to inform that journey to make sure that we stay not only relevant with our time, but also moving in the right direction and walking in the steps of those who have gone before.
How important is prayer to all of this now as we talk about developing faith and this journey of faith? How important is prayer and our prayer life in being committed to seeing that develop and grow?
I think we need to understand that prayer is communication between us and God. I think one of the biggest problems that we face in the Bahamas is that most people see prayer as simply putting a grocery list together for God to deal with in terms of all of the things that they want done, when we need to be able to be quiet for a while and let Him speak to us so that we may indeed be a people who understand that He is who He is and how much He gives direction to our lives and the whole process of where we ought to be moving and heading.
Okay, and so I think that's a valid point. Because we say prayer, but we often think of prayer as, please give me this, please give me that.
Petition.
Petition, right? Well, thanks.
Yeah, and
praise.
it's a whole question of relationship. If you are in a relationship with God, it's a two-way relationship. So for most people, prayer is a one-way thing. You're telling God what you want. But it's supposed to be in the communication. If you're in a living relationship, it's a two-way street. And all too often, we don't listen to try to hear what God is trying to say to us. We just, as it were, bring our shop and listen, or do this and that. But stop. You know, I'm 46. Be still and know that I am God. The quiet listening so that you can hear. God is trying to get through to us in many different ways. But we can be so busy. The point I mentioned earlier about paying attention. If we really pay attention to God, we will hear that God is speaking to us and addressing us about who we are and how we live our lives. Because prayer becomes the most important part of our worship. And God has made us in such a way that we are worshiping people, you know. In modern language, as opposed to in the digital age, they say that we are wired for worship. So God has made us that way. The question is, who are you worshiping? or in so many instances, what are you worshipping?
Wow.
In the age in which we live is so much materialism and consumerism and what have you, that the what gets more importance than the who. And our Christian faith addresses us to see God as the who, the one in whom we are, to whom we are related, to whom we owe everything. And if you really believe that you owe everything to God, then you come to him with praise and thanksgiving, and the petition goes at the bottom of the list instead of being at the top of the list.
So how does the Anglican Theological Institute work in helping us to kind of grow our faith?
Well, we exist to provide what we call a theological base for church membership. It's really a program with a focus on the laity, to enable the laity to have a deeper understanding of Christian truth. So we focus on the Bible. We have a 3-year program at the end of which people can get a diploma. And we do the Bible in its entirety, Old and New Testament and the Intertestamental books. We then have our doctrine to learn what the church teaches, a bit of history to give the context for so liturgy and worship, and we have ethics, and so that it's a well-rounded program to give people an introduction to theological understanding. And we hope that the more lay people can enter into, the more informed they are about their faith, the better they will be able to live their lives.
Is it only open to members of the Anglican community?
No, we have other members, non-Anglicans have been participating in it.
And how can people get involved or registered or signed up? Does it happen on a particular day? Can they just show up, or do they need to call in advance? What is the process for actually gaining some of the spiritual insight?
Well, some of the steps that we've taken is that we've put everything into a brochure so that persons can pick them up from St. Barnabas if they'd like to be a part of it. It doesn't matter what denomination you come from. We're trying to provide a solid foundation so that we're able to move the church to where it ought to be. And we also try to provide a student manual so that they know exactly what the requirements are for them. We have a registration fee of $25, which is non-refundable, and then we also charge $250 for semester. And I tell people, some people say, "Woo, that sounds a whole lot," but I remind them that there are 4 courses that they're covering in the first term. So if you divide that up, as I've done with the people at St. Barnabas, I tell them even the preschool students pay more than you would actually pay, So the good thing about it is that we're trying to provide quality theological education to put down a solid foundation for persons, not only to help them personally in terms of their spiritual life and their development, but also to equip them for the ministry that is extremely important in terms of carrying out the work of Christ and building up his kingdom.
Excellent, excellent. We do have to go. Unfortunately, our time is so short. But Archbishop, before we leave, are there any final words you want to give to us as we move into 2020 and try to begin to live life in you?
Well, I think the new year is bound to bring challenges, new challenges. And what I hope is that people who claim allegiance to the Christian faith will really try to grow in their faith, take their faith more seriously, and really become active in their churches and really become more involved. I think too many members of the church sit at the sideline. And we all have to become more involved and take it as a personal challenge to get to know God better and to love him more and to serve him in our daily living. And everybody can do that, not just bishops and priests, but everybody can do that. And to see how the church can encourage and enable persons to grow in that regard.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us this morning here at Bahamas at Sunrise. I think it's important that our first conversation of the morning was about this idea of faith and spirituality. As a nation, certainly it's something that has held us together for many years, and we hope that that will continue. People can obviously reach out to you both for more information on the Institute, and that, of course, can be a source of growth and foundation for them as well. So we thank you.
Thank you. I hope that you will have you and your family will have a prosperous, a faithful New Year.
I received that. Thank you. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
watching great content on Rev TV. Or maybe you are blazing fast internet. So you already know how good it is to have one Rev service. Imagine if you had all three. With Trio, you get all of our services for $99. And you get entered into our $250,000 cashback Christmas. So the question is, why don't you have Trio? Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
One thing, two things. Good thing, all things. Things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Incubus is a shared workspace company that provides services for professionals, freelancers, anybody that's in need of a turnkey solution for a private office space, a conference room rental, or part-time office space service. One of our main services that we provide to our members is high-speed internet access. There can be up to about 50 members within our space utilizing the internet and the Rev voice services. And Rev has done an excellent job of dedicated, reliable, high-speed internet service.
We get up early every morning to offer safe and dependable service. Where quality service is paramount. An excellent travel experience is priority. Connecting the islands of the Bahamas to the world. Bahamas Air. We don't just fly here, we live here.
Make a New Year's resolution to invest in yourself. Bahamas Business Outlook, January 16th, 2020. Register today, www.tclevents.com.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Of course, service to God tops the list. Service to man is a very close second. And of course, it's all one and the same. But be the change that you want to be in the world was the words that were once quoted and penned by Mahatma Gandhi. Very pleased to be joined this morning by two service ambassadors who've been doing it for a very long time. The man of many titles, as Star calls him, Felix Stubbs. This time, he's Assistant Rotary Coordinator, Zone 34. I just know him as the man, Felix Stubbs, a past district governor of Rotary, of course, and Shirley Pinder. Oh my goodness, Sherry, so good to see you. Member of Zonta Club of your province, but of course you've been doing so many different things. But I'm so happy to have you both here on Bahamas at Sunrise talking about a very important thing, service. You know, service. And when we talk about service, why is it just so important? Sherry, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm a firm believer that we are supposed to give back, that we're supposed to live selfless lives. And really life isn't just about what you can do for you and your family, because that's sort of a very much all for me baby type attitude, right? But our existence should be that we give back to help not only our communities but help our world. And if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Because there's so much that needs to be done in terms of persons who are less fortunate than ourselves, persons who may not have had as many opportunities as we did. And so as the old adage says, so much is given, much is expected. And so I believe all of us have been blessed in some way or form, and so we need to give back.
Well, Felix, I guess even more now so today than any times in the past. I mean, you've been a leader in business for so many years, but service has always been like very close to your heart. Why is that so?
Well, I guess for me personally, it's how I was brought up, is that you need to be serving your community and sharing some of your successes with other persons. My mother didn't have a whole lot of money, but she had a big heart, and she taught all the kids in the community how to play the piano. and she taught them after school programs, that kind of stuff. And so I grew up in that kind of environment. And I believe that, you know, as Sherry says, the more you get, the more you should give, because that's why God places us on this earth. And we can't be selfish, and we can't be successful by all to ourselves. I mean, it makes no sense me being a successful person and everybody around me being unsuccessful. That's not success.
But you know, it's a matter of the heart, because I think sometimes you do find that the more people get, the less they give. You know, the more reclusive they become. You know, they kind of tend to shy away. They don't get involved as much. But the organizations that you both are a part of, it's a completely different dynamic. I mean, when we talk about Zonta, I mean, you guys would have celebrated
100 years.
100 years last
Yes,
year. I mean,
that's
it's
right.
been around for a very long time.
That's right.
And the mission remains the same.
The mission remains the same. You know, one thing I can say about Zonta, we our mission is to advance the status of women. And so whatever it is that a woman needs in order to be her best self or to live her best quality of life, that's what we focus on. So whether it's health, whether it's advocacy to change laws and policy, whether it has to do with eliminating violence against her, which is probably her biggest detractor at this time, especially in our society and in the world, whether it has to do with her education and advancing, you know, ways in which she can, you know, develop herself so she can be a better person. These are the things that Zonta's core values and missions center around. And so for 100 years, Zonta International has been doing that. And not only at a local level have both of our clubs, the Zonta Club of Nassau and New Providence, been doing that, but also by extension as an international body, we have been doing that. And truly, we've made a lot of strides, but there's so much more to be done, Phil.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, likewise for Rotary, I mean, at the forefront of so many of, you know, the catastrophes that have occurred in the country and around the world. I mean, you talk about the Rotary around the world. I mean, even in its Rotary's theme, it talks about service.
Well, yeah, the theme is service about self, right? And but a lot of people look at Rotary as only being a service organization, but it's also a personal development organization as well. And as we move forward and we try to attract more and more younger persons, we realize that we have to be flexible. And so things like teaching young persons leadership development in terms of how to lead businesses, how to lead other civic organizations become even more important. And you find that as you become more involved with Rotary, you realize that even as you strive for your own personal success, that there's more to life, right? And I like to say, you know, you need to start moving from success to significance, and significance being what you can do for other people. That's when you really begin to feel like a holistic person.
And I remember you saying that even when I was younger. I won't say a young boy because I might age you, but you've been pretty consistent in that very same quote, you know, moving from
success to significance.
Yeah. You know, I want to say good morning as well to the Rotary Club of Old Fort Bay there, Derek and the crew there, and it's a shameless plug, but Shirley, you talk about Zonta. You know, you guys, again, you started to mention some of the projects that you have. Anything, you know, for the next century in particular that you guys would be focusing on?
There are a whole lot of things that we're focusing on. You know, from our club level, we want to, one of our core service projects has been our workforce readiness program, and that is designed to skill or up-level either unemployed or underemployed women. And so particularly we are committed to doing that. That's a program we run every summer in partnership with BTVI, in which we provide not only computer skills, but also soft skills, and it's completely free of charge to the participants. They receive certification once they're finished with that program from BTVI on the computer side, and so this is now something they can have in hand to be better in terms of being able to be employed. The other part of what we do in terms of a service project is we try to have what we call 16 days of activism every year. That's an international focus, and our club does the same thing. And in those 16 days, we want to have women, and I should say society at large, know that it's not okay to harm and hurt women. You know, when you hurt a woman, you impact an entire family, and you may even impact a generation. And so we just completed public service announcements that have been airing not only on ZNS, but we want to this year have them air in the local media, movie theaters, and wherever Bahamians gather, so that they'll be able to not only hear the message And the message in the PSAs doesn't just involve women, but also men. Because how can we just speak to the woman? We have to have men on board, you know, to say that women should be loved, respected, should be honored.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Felix, Rotary is right there. I mean, you know, just in the immediate aftermath of Dorian, you know, leading the charge, leading the efforts. And, you know, when I think about Rotary, you know, you always think of this selfless type of approach to everything. You say it's personal development, but also plays a major role in our national development. I would imagine, too, going into 2020, that's not going to change.
It's not going to change. As a matter of fact, our focus in 2020 locally is going to be on hurricane reconstruction efforts. We are very fortunate that Barry Rassin, the Bahamian, is just recently coming back off of 1 year as president of Rotary International, and already 42 countries have already reached out to him offering help for construction. And so we just need to understand where the authorities are going to go, what their plans are, and once that is known, you'd see a significant effort from Rotary, even though we're already doing things in Grand Bahama and Abaco already.
Really quickly, how can persons become involved in each organization?
Well, you can reach out to us. You can learn about us, first of all, by going to zonta.org. And then the Zonta Club New Providence .org is our particular website. And so you can get more information about what we're doing locally. People can reach out to me on 557-1268 because I'm currently the membership chair for our club, which is a board position. But the reality is I love to talk about Zonta. It's really impacted my life, not only in terms of what I've been able to do, but the relationships I've been able to forge and the partnerships that Zonta has had, you know, be it with governmental agencies, other NGOs, and the like. And so it really, in my mind, tells me that this is an organization that professional women or women who are interested or like-minded should be a part of. When we have more hands on deck, we can do more work.
No doubt about it. Felix, Rotary?
So the international website is rotary.org, local is rotarybahamas.org. Or you can talk to any one of the 400, 500 Rotarians in the Bahamas, and we'll invite you to a club meeting and let you see what's involved. You can call me directly, 424-6163. I'll make sure you get involved.
There you have it. Felix Stubbs, Assistant Rotary Coordinator, Zone 34, past District Governor of Rotary as well. Charity Pinder, Member and Ambassador, Zonta Club of New Providence. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Why should you get Trio from Rap this Christmas? Cue the music. In addition to TV and internet, you get unlimited local calls, unlimited international calls, and a free virtual number, plus tons of free features. And you get RevGo Voice for free. Also, if you get Trio now, you get entered automatically into a $250,000 cashback Christmas. That's 250 customers with a chance at $250,000. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. While working towards the future, you might require some extra funds. And we know in our country that sometimes we've not been the best in managing the money that we have, whether that is a little or a lot. we want to make sure that we get to the next level in our finances as we move into 2020. So who better to help us figure that out than Mr. Khalil Brathwaite? He's the Manager of Business Development and Client Relations at Lano Corporate Services. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy to listen. It's so good to see you. I don't think we've seen you since last year. But certainly, I think one of the major challenges we have is talking about financial goals, financial planning, and what that should look like. So when we're setting financial goals, should we focus on short-term objectives or long-term vision?
I think it's a combination of both. I think when you start taking or thinking about financial goals, you have to break down the word personal finance.
Okay.
You have to look at it on a personal level and really reflect what do you want, where do you want to be, and kind of meaningfully bring those things to a point where you can kind of reflect and merge goals with saving habits and making sure you achieve something that you want.
So my husband and I have been talking about this as we've kind of moved into this year, saying, we've been able to do some things independently in our businesses, but we really want to look at how do we set our family plans and how do we make sure that, we set savings aside and we do that, but how do we really look at a budget? What are some of the things that people should consider as they kind of just organize their money? Should it just be, what is my gas? What is my BC? Like, what are the things that you should look at and say, I'm spending money on this and I'm saving money here?
Well, I think the first thought is you kind of put in two categories, your wants and needs.
Okay.
A lot of times we may confuse our wants with our needs.
Okay.
And we need this to make it happy. And so that's why I said it really starts being personal and having this concept of reflection and understanding where you are financially and where you kind of want to be. The next thing after doing that reflection is a self-assessment so you can kind of identify the trade-offs that you want. So, for example, you and your husband might be accustomed to doing one particular goal, but you might develop a goal that means you might have to make a sacrifice and understand the trade-off. Understanding the trade-off of giving up something to gain another thing kind of empowers the whole purpose. And I think again, merging this concept of this is my goal and now practically kind of saving it. And again, having that conversation and identifying what's important to both of you and that kind of justifies the push.
Okay.
And so I think it really, a lot of times, finance is very practical. You want to make X, spend less, have something left over, but it's the living of life, I think, that kind of throws everyone off.
Right.
We have goals, we kind of get into autopilot, and then before you know, we abandon our goals. But understanding your large goal on a daily level allows you to work towards it.
So you kind of do need to look at financial goals as like SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, that
Very much so. And understanding that goals are not fixed per se. Like, for example, if you don't reach your goal in a certain time frame, it doesn't mean you abandon it. You just adjust the time frame. Because I tend to say real people live real lives.
Right.
You might plan for a scenario, but a scenario comes up. You just adjust, adapt, pivot, and keep planning and moving accordingly.
Okay. How can we talk about, or what are some of the tools that can be used to kind of help us save, and then not just save, but also to monitor? Because I don't know how many of us actually realize how much we spend in a given month. So what are some of the tools that we can use to kind of monitor our progress and how we're spending? And then are there things that we can be doing to save money?
Right. So great question. I think it goes back to the old age philosophies like budget, kind of tracking what you're spending. It's just meeting it and merging it with your lifestyle. So some people are kind of digital, so they may have an app that kind of tracks their budget. Some people like pen and paper. But I think it's just taking that effort to kind of sit down and forecast what you want to spend. And then there are different strategies to do it, right? Because you can start by saving first what you want to save out of your paycheck and then spending what's left over or kind of identifying how you want to tackle it. But that's why I kind of say it becomes very personal. You understand what works for you and you merge it accordingly, and you just take the principles that work and then say, okay, if you like digital stuff, maybe an app might be what, because you might be right, or if you prefer a journal kind of thing where you could kind of reflect and circle back. So you just kind of pick off these different shelves of options to find a personal solution.
Is an emergency fund something that we really should be working toward as individuals?
Yes. Again, in this notion of autopilot, we kind of live life and we say, oh, I'll start an emergency fund. But literally, it's in times of an emergency where the fund makes a difference. And we can't ever quantify or plan emergency. But, heaven forbid you are traveling and something happens, you need to go to the hospital, or heaven forbid anything goes down, house damage, hurricane was a good example. having a nest egg to tackle it makes the difference in how you either stumble or weather the storm.
Right.
A lot of times in life, it's a lot, we can be derailed by a combination of emergencies.
Right.
So it's important just kind of having an emergency fund, saving it away for a rainy day, because even though in the Bahamas it's very sunny, it does rain from time to time. And again, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
So before we go, because our time is never enough when we're talking about these matters, Leno, how could you guys help those of us that might want to start to make investments or just look at how we're using and spending our money wisely, and whether that's trying to figure out to do a pension? We need help sometimes with this advisory services. How does Leno kind of come in to work with people to get them to the next level financially?
Well, thank you for that. We've been very active from about 9 years ago in terms of doing public speaking, workshops, training, retirement seminars, financial planning seminars. I've been from the Ministry of Education down to the schools, speaking with the teachers, the students, quasi-government, private organizations, of course, the usual financial stuff. But the goal is kind of getting the message out there, because a lot of times the information allows us, information is power, and you want to make an informed decision to make a powerful decision. So a lot of times we like to debunk a lot of the myths that are out there. So getting to the people, having that conversation, bringing that conversation is one of the things we're doing. We're excited about some opportunities that we're putting together this year. I think you'll be happy to hear about. But our thing is always to be available as an educational resource, and we continue to do that. And I've been happy to make the rounds to every level of society, school, churches, businesses, and we just want to be that resource. And that's how we've been kind of contributing and giving back. We don't talk about it a lot. We've just been doing a lot behind the scenes.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I think you've shared a wealth of information. And, of course, if people want to contact you at Leno, they can reach out to you directly there and kind of learn more about what you offer for Leno services in particular, and how they would benefit from those. But thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Brathwaite.
Thank you for having us.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back with more after this commercial break.
Unwrap holiday joy as Shell lights up Christmas with $50,000 in prizes just for you. Win a brand new 2020 Hyundai i20 Active, thousands of dollars in John Bull and Kelly's gift certificates, along with the latest Apple electronics. From now through January 24th, 2020, purchase a minimum of $20 in fuel from your favorite Shell location in New Providence and enter to win. Visit our Sun Oil Limited Facebook page for weekly giveaways as Shell lights up Christmas. Terms and conditions apply.
Business in the Box is your solution for business from Cable Bahamas. It's an internet, voice, mobile, and advertising solution all in one place. Get reliable internet, free domestic call, and a live corporate package, and free TV ad placement, all starting with packages as low as $164 a month. You can save over $3,000 a year. Just call 601-8911. That's 601-8911. And ask for Business in the Box from Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Terms and conditions apply.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
And I'm Philip Simon.
Thank you for staying with us.
Yes, thank you very much for being here this morning.
Phil, you're not focused.
I am very
You're
focused.
not focused, Phil.
That's Godfrey, man. That's Godfrey, man. That's Godfrey.
Listen, we hope that you've been enjoying the morning so far. We've talked spirituality, we've talked service, we've talked finance, and we still got more to come in this second half.
You know, I like what Khalil says. So real people got to realize, man. Real challenges, just be real. Just
Yeah.
be real with your goals and aspirations, and and then pace yourself.
Yeah, and I think that is the key point, Phil, and I want to echo that this morning to those of you that are setting resolutions. I think one of the challenges with New Year's resolutions is that we set something, and then if it's not achieved in a time frame, we've never been reasonable with the time frame, right? Or some of us don't even set a time frame at all, and we just expect it to happen. So that you've got to organize your goals so that it's bigger than just this year. So this is 2020. What do I want my 2025 to look like, and what are the steps I'm taking in 2020 to make 2025 that way?
No doubt about it. And we're going to talk more about that in a different sense coming up with Natasha Brown in terms of our bodies. It's like some people want to lose 50 pounds within the next
2 weeks.
Exactly, 2 weeks. It's all about pace. It's all about But I really liked the conversation you were having with Canon Tynes and Archbishop Gomez, because again, at the core of us is our spirit man, and we have to set that straight first in order to move everything else right.
Seek ye first this, and everything else falls into place.
No doubt about it.
Certainly that was a good conversation. We're going to have some more. Keishelle Davis is here, Vision Boards. I'm telling you, they have transformed the way that I work and live and manifest, and so looking forward to that conversation with her as well. And then Simone Go, if you want to do some career changes, what are the steps you need to take to make that happen? Awesome segment this morning. So shout out to our producer, Suzette Parker, for pulling it all together. We've got more to come now with a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Sadi.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in Insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather at sunrise. High pressure dominating the feature that's shifting towards the east and making way for a strong cold front to move in here sometime on Saturday afternoon or Grand Bahama, Bimini, or New Providence through late Saturday night into Sunday morning. That'll bring about some showers, possible thunderstorms, but also some strong winds. So in the marine, we want all mariners to stay in port over the next 24 hours and use swimmers out of the water, because there's hazardous boating and beaching conditions over the next 24 to 36 hours. In your marine forecast, today those winds start off east to southeast at 15-20 knots, but becoming southeast to south later this afternoon, 15-20 knots seas, 4 to 6 feet. Over the northwest and central Bahamas, easterly at 10 to 15 knots seas, 2 to 4 feet. Over the southeastern islands. On Saturday, those winds south to southwest, increasing 15-25 knots, those seas building 6 to 9 feet of northwest Bahamas, but those winds will start increasing 20 to 30 knots, gusting to gale force, seas building 7 to 10 feet by Saturday night. Over the central and southeastern islands, those winds southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Then on Sunday, by that front passes through, those winds become northerly at 20 to 30 knots, seas 7 to 10 feet of northwest Bahamas, but those winds will be decreasing by Sunday night. Southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at 7:38 this morning. Next high tide will be at 1:35 this afternoon. Low again tonight at 8 p.m. Sunset at 5:33 this evening. Rises in the morning at 6:56. UV index 8. Your water temperature 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase for its quarter. External look. Partly sunny start with warm temperatures, but by late afternoon, over the Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, increasing cloudiness, showers, and those windy conditions, and possible thunderstorm activity by nighttime, late night Saturday into Sunday morning. They'll be moving to New Providence area with those windy conditions, showers, and possible thunderstorms. Should move out by Sunday late morning, early afternoon, and that'll bring with those cold temperatures for next week, where those temperatures daytime will be in the lower 70s, at nighttime in the mid to upper 50s. That puts you up in your final look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, if you are considering a career change, this next segment is for you. The average person actually changes careers 5 to 7 times within their working lives. Listen, we've got the best person in the house, an old friend, but she's very, very young at heart. Simone Boat, got a new position, Director of Human Resources and Organizational Development, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation, but we know her as the coach.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back and here with you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. So I mean, that's an amazing statistic when you kind of stop to think about it, that there's so much transitions that persons have within jobs, within careers over the course of a lifetime, and I had to kind of,
we were both thinking about
it.
I
think I've done it a couple of times myself.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but I guess the first thing is, can you consider career change at any age? I mean, when is the right time? I mean, if you're considering it, or do you stay where you are? I mean, what are some of the thoughts and factors that go into careers?
Yeah, from a human resource standpoint, staying in one job today is actually not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
I think when we were growing up, that's what we've always been told. You find that great job and you stick it out.
Stick and stay, right?
Right. You stay for 30 years and that shows that you are a good, dedicated employee. Right. But the world has changed so much that now maybe about 2 to 3 years is a long time to be on a job, and so I think a lot of people are still searching to find that right thing, that sweet spot, career-wise.
What are some of the factors then that go into, when you get to the point, it's like, well, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I need to be doing something else. How do you get to that point?
I think as we come out of high school, again, that's a very pivotal time. And I think we ought to create more opportunities for young people to explore what they want to do. So by the time they choose to go to college or enter the work world, they're going into a field that they actually have some passion for. I think a lot of times people misunderstand, like they look from the outside in on a particular career, and they say, okay, that looks exciting, or that looks like that'll make a lot of money, or I like the sound of doctor or lawyer or whatever. And so I go after that, but I really have no interest in that. And so you find that once people start getting into the work, they find they don't have the passion for it. Or sometimes their life circumstances change. They get more responsibility. Maybe they have a family, or they have to take on an aging parent, and so their needs change. And so they are either looking for more flexibility or they're looking for more money. So it depends on the stage of life that you're in as well.
I mean, it's a serious thing. It's not as simple as it may sound in terms of words that we're saying, to kind of just go from one thing and to the next.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about personal branding all the time, and the fact that people develop different skills over the course of a career that they may not even know that they have, which makes them quite fearful at times when it talks about making a switch.
Absolutely, and with good reason, because depending on what you're switching to, and if it's a complete 180 from something that you were doing before, now it may become a harder sell. When you put that on a resume, and people they're going to ask you off the top, what is this about, right? And so you don't want to look as if you don't know yourself, that you're not focused, that you don't know where you're going, because your resume is really your career story. That is what people look at to say, well, we want to see the progression. We want to see that this person has a focus and has a flow in their career. And so it could be a bit of a challenge. And also today we face in our society ageism. So people are looking at persons who are maybe 40 and over and looking at, you don't know where you want to be yet, you don't know what you want to be doing yet, and then they don't even want to take a chance on you because sometimes they feel, well, you're not going to be trainable, or you are going to be around for a long time, you're going to retire, and then they're going to find someone else, or you're just, not what we're looking for.
And in the past when we used to see something on a resume, we see so many different switches every 2 to 3 years. That was not viewed as a good thing.
It's not. It's not. And I think that from the HR perspective, that as HR professionals, we need to rethink that because the world is so much different. I've seen resumes where people have written that they are their chief domestic manager, and what that really means is I took some time to take care of my kids, and now I need to re-enter the workforce. And so we have to look at things like that. In other circumstances, people would look at that as a gap in their career, but there are transferable skills when you manage a household.
So how do you be true to yourself? I mean, is there a tipping point, some feeling, some type of situation that you get to a point and you're like, well, wait a minute, this isn't working anymore. I mean, what are some of the signals that somebody, headed towards a career change, or something needs to happen. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's really an important point that you raised, Philip, because a lot of times we don't pay attention to what we feel. And sometimes we feel, oh, it's just this toxic environment, or oh, I just have a bad boss, and all of these things. And we're not really paying attention to the things that we're feeling inside. And if you are sitting at a desk or doing some job that you are not feeling fulfilled at the end of the day, you're not feeling like you're contributing, you don't feel like you're growing, you don't feel like you're advancing and that you're doing something to make yourself feel worthwhile at the end of the day, then maybe it's time now for you to consider, what else can I do? And then prepare. There's never too much preparation. Start to research, start to maybe find a mentor that you can talk to get more information about it. Prepare yourself by going back to school or getting a certification. Just do the work, explore, you know, and just take the limits off, you know.
It's, how important is it? You know, we talk about this happiness quotient all the time. You know, when we try to exude happiness in the workplace, but how important is that feeling? I mean, happiness, contentment to us as human beings every single day. And we spend a lot of time at work, so it's important to at least be, you know, within the areas.
Hello. Yeah, I think people, again, that's in days gone by that, you know, you're not supposed to be happy. It's a job. You know, you get paid. That should make you happy enough. But I think that, you know, companies have realized globally, when we talk about employee engagement, that's what that really is. It's not about someone that's showing up and collecting a salary, but it's someone who's feeling connected to the job that they're doing. And they're feeling like, I get this, I love doing this, I feel like there's a future in this for me, and I'm progressing. And so when people are happy at work, they perform better. And for me, I can't understand why leaders don't understand that, you know, and try to tap into that. And it's not a touchy-feely thing. It's a very real thing that can be measured. But when you have people who are happy, they are more productive, and they give you what you call discretionary effort, which is that effort that above and beyond my salary. That means I'm going to stay beyond 5 o'clock, and you don't have to pay me overtime.
Simone, listen, we haven't even gotten into, you know, resumes, interviews. Listen, you got to come back.
I know,
you have to come back, but I'm gonna cut it short right
Does it
now.
have to
I'm
be
gonna
so
throw
early
it.
in the morning?
I know, right? We'll work on that. I'll talk with Kelly. But yeah, I know, right? Listen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We have to continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Right.
It really is.
Watching Bahamas at Sunrise, I'm going to throw it back over to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Phil. Vision boards help you to examine your desires and focus on the ones that truly matter to you. I will tell you, as someone that has done the vision board experience, especially with Keishelle Davis as the trainer, it has really been a phenomenal exercise. I've seen her do this with not just individuals, but groups of people and even young people, and seeing the things that have manifested from them. I will allow her to tell you. So happy to welcome Keishelle Davis back to our show this morning, Chief Executive Officer at the Training Authority. And today it's all about vision and what you can create by simply laying out the vision and making it plain. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
It's always good to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you with us and to be talking about something that I think is so powerful, and that we really want to give people a new way to kind of lay out their goals and organize their lives. So talk to me about how the vision board kind of helps you to focus.
Well, first of all, the vision board or dream board, so I use those words interchangeably. I believe it's the single most important tool that you can really use to fulfill your dreams, right? We have a lot of tools, there's a lot of things out there, but what's proven that works is a dream board, vision board, right? Steve Harvey talks about, I love the quote that he says, if it wasn't for my dream board, I'd be in trouble.
Wow.
And I love that because I can so relate to that. And so a dream board really is a physical representation of the goals and the dreams that you have, right? You could see some examples here of, it's really just pictures, words that resonate most with what you want out of your life, right? We started a new decade, new year, new decade, and especially at the beginning of the year, people are talking about their goals, their dreams. But the problem that I see is they keep it in their heads, right? They keep it maybe on a sheet of paper perhaps, and they don't see it anymore. A dream board allows you to be creative, be visual, and it inspires you all year long, right? It reminds you of what you want to achieve. I also like to say it convicts you.
Okay.
Right? Because if you say, you know, you want to lose 30 pounds or save, and you put that on your dream board, and you look at that dream board every day or every other day, and you're not going in that path that you say you want, obviously,
Right.
it provides a little bit of a conviction as
Right.
well.
Okay. So obviously you have to then not just create the dream board, but put it somewhere you can see it.
Yes.
Because that's important to making sure that you're holding yourself accountable to the goals that you say that you want.
Yeah, out of you know, the saying out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
Right. And so the dream board, we know the statistics by the end of January, people have forgotten their goals, their intentions, their resolutions, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
A dream board does not allow you to forget. If
Okay.
you've done it and you place it where you can see it, you know, mine is now at the back of my office door. So
Right.
my office door is closed. I look up and I see it.
Right.
But wherever you can see it, it's there to inspire you, remind you, convict you, energize you. And it's so ironic. I looked, these are my older boards, and I looked at the one that I created 10 years ago,
Right.
my very first board.
Right.
And I still look at that, and it still provides that excitement, that reminder, that inspiration, and that's what the board is supposed to do.
So let's talk about the board itself. When you say you did one 10 years ago, should you do this every year? Or when you lay out the board, should it be like this is a 3-year board or a 2-year board? What is the way that you actually lay out your board, and how do you do it in terms of time frame?
So there's no right or wrong way. The way that I teach it in my events is at least a year. Now, will you get to achieve everything on your board in a year? Probably not, right? But at least think about what you want to achieve or what you want to be reminded of this year. And you want to identify your goals in at least 5 life areas, right? So livelihood and lifestyle, body and wellness, essence and spirituality, creativity and learning, relationships and society. And there are 5 big areas, and we go into breaking them down into what they mean.
Right.
And before you get to the board, you want to write these out. And that's something I always recommend. Don't just jump to
putting pictures on a board.
Right. I mean, it's fun, yes, and you complete a board, but be more intentional before you get to the board building process, right? And then once you've written them out, and I go through a process of not only writing out and defining my dreams, I also go through a process with the people we work with and asking myself, what's holding me back?
Right, and I think that's one of the most powerful things I've seen, because I've done your vision board once or twice now. Always I try to bring groups in so people can do it together, and people always get very emotional in that space, right? Understanding, why have I not dreamed before? And we had somebody say that, I don't think I've ever dreamed, right?
I've never forgot that statement. She said, this is the first time I've allowed myself to dream. And so we go through a powerful process that allows us to ask ourselves, when I think about my dreams, what do I feel?
Right.
Do I feel angry? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel sad? Do I feel guilty? And you'll be amazed at what comes up for people that connects to why they're not getting the results that they want. Right? So we go through that entire process. We go through also the principles. You know, I always go back to Dr. Valis Monroe and talks about everything rises and falls on principles.
Right.
And so we go through the principles of achieving those goals and dreams as well. And then we take all of that writing, all of that inner work, and we
put it on the board.
And so once you've done that, you look at that board sets you up for success all year long.
Excellent. So Kishelle, how can we contact you if we do want to get involved with learning from you, or even creating our own sort of vision board experience? How do we reach you?
Well, I'm excited to work with 8 new trainers this year.
Excellent.
So there's going to be a slew of dream board parties. You can reach out to me at 818-3482. That's my cell, 818-3482, to get to me directly. Or go to my website and go to contact. You can put your information there. Or I'm all over social media, Kishelle Davis. Any channel you choose to reach out to me, I will respond and get you into one of those events.
All right, and Kishelle, we do have to go, but before we do, I always like to tell this story because I think it's so true. And obviously, I've had manifestations of my own from my dream board, but there's a picture right here on this dream board of a very handsome guy. You want to tell us that story very quickly?
You know, it's the quick part of the story is when I put that photo on my board, first time I put a picture of a man. I said, okay, he looks good. I like how he looks. Less than a month later, I met a guy. in January, this is around the same period, we've been on our first date. 4 months later, we were engaged.
Wow.
The most powerful part of the story is when I showed my then fiance the picture of my board, his comment was, "What are you doing with my picture on your board?"
Indeed,
So
indeed,
it was
because they look so much alike.
identical picture to who I'm now married to. We've been married now for 5 years, almost 6 years. And so never underestimate the power of your mind.
Right.
Once you're clear on what you want, to manifest the things that you absolutely want. And that's really what the dream boards do.
Listen, I'm going to leave it right
Yes,
there. I don't
we
even want
can
to
go.
wrap up because we could go on and on about the other successes we've seen.
Yes.
But Keishel, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've got more to come. Here is Phil.
Alive. Believe in best.
A new era is coming. January 16th, 2020. Bahamas Business Outlook. A new era. Resilience in the face of vulnerability. Register today. www.tclevents.com. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to the show. Of course, fitness and health is always one of those #1 resolutions that we make every single year coming out of the holiday season. Somebody we haven't had on the show in over a year, but welcome back, downtown Natasha Brown. Good to see you again. You look absolutely the same.
Boy, listen, it has been a journey and I have my moments, but I must tell you, there is a famous quote that I like by Rich DeVos, and it simply says, the only 2 things that you need to keep fighting with daily is the will to show up and the faith to believe it's possible that no matter what, you're going to get your results.
And everything else falls into place.
And everything
All
falls
right,
into
well,
place.
good. Well, excellent. I tell you, I know what fell out of place this past Christmas and New
all of
Year's.
us.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, listen, perfect time, New Year, new season. You know, let's talk about it. I mean, let's talk about why this is so important, not just at this point in the year, but every day.
Simply because we don't know when we all know that we're going to die. Until then, we can have the quality of life that God initially designed for us. And so every day, you know, even forget about the deadline. Sometimes, you know, we want to look good, you know, to get in a dress or we get married, whatever the situation is. But there's life until that happens. Sometimes we have diagnosis along the way. What are we going to do? Exactly. And a lot of times, you know, we have situations that happen. We may need to have surgery. Exercise shields us from a lot of stuff, and it carries us. It's going to carry us a long way if we do it right. But we have to make the commitment now, but don't put a deadline on it right here. Just know that every day that you will get up and you will do something for you.
All right, well, let's do something. I see you got your models here today. I don't have to take off my jacket. Star, obviously, he's not going to be doing it for a little bit. But what are we going to be doing this morning?
I have my team here, Shanton and Melissa. We're just going to keep it very simple this morning because we find that a lot of persons don't want to be very explosive right now. It's too early in the year. But there are some exercises and some stretches that you should be doing all year. Melissa, let's demonstrate. So we're going to start off with child's pose position. This stretch is very good because what it does, it warms up your back, it warms up your arms, your quads, and the entire body. It also sets your mindset for what you're about to engage in. So now Melissa's going to go into upward dog position. And from this position, she's going to give us 5 push-ups. Go ahead and give us 5 push-ups. And so you can see that it doesn't require a lot. You're not even going to get into the real push-up position.
It's almost like a stretch.
It's just a stretch. And so again, she's able to stretch her back. She's able to push up fully. You see how she's extending her arms, and she's still getting the most out of the push-up.
You know, sometimes you say, you know, it's always this debate whether or not stretching is good before, during, or after.
Before, during, and after, you should be able to do it. You want to do it because it sustains you through your exercise. Now Melissa will turn over, and she's going to demonstrate one of the most basic abdominal exercises that I know works for anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. So what she's going to do is extend the hands all the way over, stretch the legs all the way out, and she's going to bring one knee in at a time. Right. And you see, keep going. You can see that she's able to maintain her posture, and it doesn't require too much where she has to raise up, because sometimes there's situations with your neck, but she's still able to stay fully comfortable while she's doing this exercise. And then to make it a little bit more intense, she will bring both knees in together. Very good. So you see that she's still able to get the full range of motion and still be able to get the results that she's looking for.
Is there a limit or a time frame or a number, a magic number?
Well, the thing is that you want to be able to start off with 15, and then as you become stronger, you can add 5. But the ideal number is anywhere between 20 to 25, and about 3 to 4 sets of that. Thank you, Melissa. Now we have Shanton. Shanton will focus on a little bit more movement. Melissa just remains stationary. So Shanton will do a basic burpee. Burpee. So
one of my favorites.
And so what he will do is he will place his hands comfortably on the floor, take his feet all the way out, drop down into a push-up, and then instead of jumping, he's going to walk and then raise his hands. You see that? So he will do that again. He doesn't have to jump at the end. He's still being able to get the full length in the burpee and then stretch all the way up. Let's do that one more time. So you place...
my coach, what is the purpose of this burpee? I mean, what does it achieve, the burpee?
It improves your vertical. It improves your back, your strength, your core, your legs, and your upper body. So everything is being worked one time. Okay. And then finally, let's go ahead and do the abdominals, turn over. Where he will do, he will do core again. Melissa did the bent knee. Now he's going to do the straight leg, alternating. Again, you don't have to raise the back all the way up off the ground, because if you've got a back situation, you can still be able to get the most that you can out of the sit-up. Now do both legs here.
Now, if you're feeling any type of pain, you just stop it.
During the exercise? You will have to stop and probably stretch, and then we will have to assess it to see why you're getting the pain. But if you were to stay as basic as he is, you should be okay. The head isn't moving, so there's no pressure on the neck. Everything is still being contracted, where he's opening all the way out, getting full range of motion, and then he contracts as he comes together again in the middle.
And of course, the core and the back.
The core. And you cannot do one without the other. But what happens sometimes, if the abdominals are weaker than the back, then the back has no strength to really pull from. You see, so
the star comes into the shot right now.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, right?
How are you doing? It's little
Stars multiplying.
I see it.
So how does it even work for a person?
She looks good. It doesn't stop. The thing is if you've not been working out prior to becoming pregnant, then you're going to have to get the necessary advice and guidance through that. But I think she's been working out, and so that her trainer should know the necessary steps for her to take to make sure that she doesn't hurt. Yes, that's right.
You know, and it's just going on until you say stop.
And you know, the thing is that I have challenged the group in 2019 that we were doing 800 to 1,000 abs. So I made sure,
a week?
No, in a session. And it took us 30 minutes to do that.
60, 70 people?
Yeah,
Okay,
and everybody, and we made sure, and I made sure that everybody worked at their own fitness level. That's very important. So make sure when you are starting out, no matter what fitness levels are around you, do not get caught up in that. You have to work at your own fitness level, and one day you will reach 100 abs non-stop.
And is it every day?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Because sometimes you say Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or two, 3 times.
Every day you have to get up and look perfect to come on your job. You gotta comb your hair, you gotta brush your teeth, and you need this very body to show up on the job to be effective.
Even if it's 30
So you have to do it even if 30 minutes, yes.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming back. It's starting off the new year, right? If we're
Yeah.
back downtown in Casa Brada studio, then
You started right.
And so good for you all to join us this morning. Thank you so much. And thanks for everybody who watched the show today around the time. So
All the time. But you know what? We're going to be back on Monday.
we certainly will be back on Monday, so we will see you then. Make it a safe and enjoyable.
Thank you so much. Well, you was working that, boy.